Gigi is the newest mythic brawler coming to Brawl Stars, and she is the second brawler in the Oddity shop trio with Juju. Yes, that's right, we're getting another mythic assassin, because that's what the game needs right now. Honestly though, with all the assassins that we have, I'm actually pretty impressed with how they keep coming up with new, unique mechanics, and Gigi's no different. She is a marionette ballerina doll that is controlled by a mysterious floating glove. The glove belongs to a magician at some point, which would explain its magical powers, and Gigi is never separated from it. We don't know much about where Gigi comes from, but we do know she loves dancing on the shelves at the Oddity shop. Stick around to the end of the video for all of her voice lines and pins. Gigi's main attack is Pirouette Power Up. And if you don't know what a pirouette is, it's a ballerina dance move. It goes like this. Ugh. Honestly, I should have my wife come do it because she's actually pretty good, but okay, do it. That was fantastic! Show Lady K some support in the comment section. For Gigi's attack, she twirls around again and again, dealing damage to all enemies near her each time she spins. Now, while she's using her attack, her movement speed also slightly increases, so it's actually a lot like Carl's super, just not quite as strong. And even though she doesn't have as much range as Jackie or Doug, her attack can still hit enemies through walls. Now, instead of having 3 ammo slots like most brawlers, Gigi's ammo works like Amber, where it only reloads while she's not attacking, but she can use all of her ammo for one long continuous attack. In fact, it's usually better to use the attack for as long as possible because the longer she spins, the faster she spins, which means the more damage she does. She starts out attacking slower and then it goes faster and faster, so she does a lot of damage near the end very quickly. In fact, let's compare her attack to Amber's to give you a better idea of how it works. In this side by side, I wanted to test how quickly both Gigi and Amber can deal 10,000 damage, because that's actually Gigi's maximum damage with one continuous attack. I ended up overshotting it a little bit with Amber, but this still shows that Gigi can deal 10,000 damage significantly faster than Amber can. In fact, 28% faster, and her peak DPS is 26% higher than Amber's. Amber's DPS is more consistent and she has more ammo in the tank to deal more total damage, but Gigi's DPS can ramp up to deal damage faster. 10,000 damage in 1.4 seconds is a lot. In this second side-by-side, I wanted to see how Amber's and Gigi's reloads compare when you hold down the attack button after they're fully unloaded. I don't know why I decided to test this, but I'm actually glad that I did, because you can see that while this is not a good idea to use on a brawler like Amber, this could actually be useful for Gigi if your opponents are only 1,000 or 2,000 health from dying. This also shows how much faster Gigi's ammo reloads compared to Amber's, though that makes sense because her tank of ammo is much smaller than Amber's. Gigi's super is Shadow Puppet. This super will teleport Gigi to where you aim it, very similar to Gray's super, but with a couple of major differences here. Obviously, she doesn't leave a teleporter on the ground that her teammates can use, and instead of teleporting to the spot immediately, she has a little bit of a charge up for a few seconds, so it's not quite as surprising. However, as soon as she teleports, her super instantly recharges and a second ammo bar appears and starts to deplete. If she uses her super again before the bar fully depletes, she will teleport back to the spot that she originally was before she used her super in the first place, while also dealing damage to everything in her attack radius. If she doesn't use the super and the bar just fully depletes, then her super will be reset to empty. She does not teleport back to that spot. Keep in mind that there is a delay before she uses her super. There is no delay when she uses her super to teleport back though, so she can still deal damage instantly with it. This is an insane ability. You know what it reminds me of? Some of you will remember when Gray was first added into the game, he could instantly teleport himself and a teammate to opponents, and a super broken combo was to teleport with Gray and a Jackie, and then Jackie would just wreak havoc on everybody. Well, Gigi gets to do that by herself. She just teleports onto people and then destroys them. It's like Brawl Stars took a playbook from the cheese strats and added it into a brawler. Now, before we get into Gigi's gadget and star power, we need to talk about her new trait. Very similar to brawlers like Cordelius or Lily, Gigi has a small ring around her that will help her charge up her super, but this one's different. Instead of enemies being inside the radius charging up her super, All she needs are enemy projectiles inside it to charge her super. Now, it was mentioned in Brawl Talk that she charges her super by dodging attacks, but she actually just charges her super whenever a projectile enters the ring, whether or not it hits her. So you can take full-blown damage and that will still charge up your super. So it's basically like a tank trait, except for better because you can still charge her super without needing to take damage. Gigi's first gadget is longer strings. This gadget just increases the size of her supercharge ring for about 3 seconds to help her capture more enemy projectiles and make it easier for her to charge her super. I will mention that even though her attack and her super are the same size as the ring, this gadget does not increase the range of her attack or her super. Gigi's second gadget is Disappearing Act. When this gadget is activated, Gigi summons a circus tent that will make her and her teammates invisible to enemies as long as they are inside the tent's radius. It's almost the same gadget as Leon's lollipop drop, except that it can't be destroyed, but it has a smaller radius and it only stays on the battlefield for 3 seconds. There really isn't a whole lot of space inside the tent, so I'm not sure how effective being invisible will even be, but we'll have a better idea of how strong it is once it's released. I was gonna be like this, but everybody commented in my last video when I did that, and that was not intentional, but you know, whatever. Gigi's first star power is Plie Protection. Okay, well now I have to look up what a plie is. Oh, it's just this. Plie. That felt really stupid and it was probably wrong, but whatever. With her first star power equipped, as long as Gigi has not taken any damage for 3 seconds, this star power will increase her supercharge rate by 30% until she takes damage. After she takes damage, the timer resets, and if you can avoid damage for 3 more seconds, she will receive the supercharge boost again, and this supercharge boost applies to all sources that charge her super. So whether she is charging her super from landing main attacks, supers, or dodging projectiles, she receives 30% more supercharge than she normally would. My gut impression is that this is going to be really effective. But her second star power is a helping hand. Every time Gigi uses her super with this star power equipped, she will recover 2,400 health. I say every time, but it only heals her on the initial teleport forward, not when she teleports back. I also think it's important to note that the health is recovered as soon as she teleports and not right when the super is activated. In other words, just like there's a delay before teleporting, there's also a delay before she heals from the star power. Gigi is not being released with a hypercharge, which means that she will be the only brawler in the game without a hypercharge, which feels a little like messed up, right? How strong is she going to be? We don't know because she's only being released with half her kit, right? I mean, hypercharge isn't half, but you get the idea. But that's good news because the Brawl Stars Olympics doesn't include all of the hypercharges, at least not yet. So let's compare her to the rest of the brawlers in the game using the Brawl Stars Olympic tests. We're going to start with her worst test and mark our way up to her best test. Then we'll talk about how strong I think she's going to be and show all her voice lines and pins. First up is the attack range test. Gigi's attack radius is only 2 tiles, which means that she has the shortest attack range in the game, or she lands in 97th place. Good thing she has her supercharging trait though, and she can teleport, or her attack would probably be useless. Next is the 3 attack kill test. If Gigi uses her full ammo bar, she can deal 10,000 damage before it's depleted. However, we ranked Amber based off of how much damage she could deal with 3 individual shots, so it's only fair that we do the same for Gigi. So that's 3,000 damage, which isn't even enough to take out any brawler in the game. So she gets 96th place right after Amber. But once again, with 1 ammo bar, she can take out every single brawler in the game except for 8 of them. Next is the auto aim test. If an enemy is within Gigi's attack radius, auto aiming will work every time. Unfortunately, that's not very far, and the 1 tick of damage isn't going to do much either because of how this test is made to work for, you know, most of the brawlers, but for Gigi, it's a bad test. The point is she gets 91st place. Next, we have the area test. Gigi's attack and super have the same radius, but for some reason, I was able to break 1 more skull with her super than I did with her attack. Neither of her gadgets can break any skulls, so she gets a total of 43 skulls and gets 63rd place. Next, we have the boss test. Gigi charges up her first super with her first full bar of ammo and then uses a super in between each main attack until the boss is destroyed. Since she increases the number of spins the longer she uses her attack, it's best for her to fully reload her ammo bars before using her main attack, and she defeats the boss in 41.8 seconds. That puts her in 56th place, close to half of the brawlers. Next, we have the assassin test. This is how much damage she can do in 3 seconds. Gigi's able to unload exactly 1 full ammo bar and use her super once to deal some extra damage before her 3 seconds are up. That comes to 13,000 damage and ties her with Allie for 50th place. Reminder that that is enough to take out every single brawler in the game. Next, we have the Swarm test. Now, I tried defeating the Swarm using 3 supers and 1 main attack, but it's actually faster by about half a second if she uses 2 supers and 2 main attacks. She uses the super to teleport to a group of bots, then take them out with her main attack, while moving to another group, which she instantly destroys when she teleports back. After doing the same on the second half of the Swarm, she defeats the Swarm in 5 seconds, and that puts her in 50th place. Up until this point, Gigi has been worse than half of the brawlers in the game, and from this point on, she is better than half of the brawlers in the game. Starting with the super range test. Gigi's super radius is the same as her attack, but she has a lot more range since she uses it to teleport. She technically even has more range than the distance that she can teleport, since she can then run forward for 3 seconds before teleporting back and actually dealing damage. But as far as the reticle goes, her super reach is 9 1/3 tiles, so she ties with Ruffs and Gus and 6 other brawlers for 44th place. Okay, next we have the survival test. Gigi is not allowed to use her second gadget to avoid shots in this test, but she does use her second star power to recover some extra health. She has 7,600 total health, which is the same amount as Kaze, who is also a very strong assassin, and she's able to survive for 26.4 seconds, which ties her with Eve and Jae Young for 42nd place. Next, we have the 1 second DPS test. Gigi can't unload all of her shots within the same second, so she deals the most damage by hitting the boss with the last half of her attack, and then using her super to instantly deal damage at the end of it. She deals a total of 9,000 damage in 1 second, so she gets 40th place. Next, we have the super damage test. Gigi's super only deals damage when she's teleporting back to the spot that she used it from, but it deals 3,000 damage. That ties her with Byron for 38th place. Next, we have the supercharge test. Gigi's first star power obviously helps in this test since it allows her to charge her super 30% faster. Just to make it a little more clear, it takes her 10 hits from her main attack normally and only 8 hits with her star power in effect. So she charges her super in 1.5 seconds. That ties her with El Primo, Dynamite, and 3 other brawlers for 27th place. Up next, we have the race test. Gigi uses her super to get a huge head start and then immediately uses her main attack to give her an even bigger boost to her movement speed. She already has a very fast movement speed, similar to like Mortis and Crow. So while she's using her attack, she's actually one of the fastest brawlers in the game. She charges a second super after using another attack, then teleports across the finish line. Gigi finishes the race test in 8.2 seconds and ties with Max for 13th. So she is going to be a very fast moving brawler. But that's not her best test. We also have the box test. Gigi takes out the first box with only 1 ammo bar. The more cubes she has, the less ammo she needs to wait for in order to open up the next box group. And by the time she gets the last 2 groups, she can take them both out with just 1 ammo bar. She completes the box test in 21.2 seconds. That puts her in 4th place, which suggests she's going to be very good at ramping up damage in Showdown. But again, not her best test. Next, we have the reload test. This was another test that we had to do the same way that we tested Amber, which was measuring the amount of time that it takes for her to reload and unload 10 individual attacks. Since Gigi can unload exactly 10 shots with 1 ammo bar, all we have to do to measure this is just unload a full ammo bar and then reload a full ammo bar. So yeah, it's a little bit of a weird test, but if there are going to be some Olympic tests that are bad for her, there's got to be some that are good for her, right? This whole process takes her 4.3 seconds and she gets 2nd place, just behind Amber. And that's actually a tie for her next test, which is also a 2nd place test, which I just said. The splash test. As we saw in the box test, Gigi's able to take out boxes with only 1 ammo bar, and since every box fits inside the radius of her ammo, then all she has to do is unload it. She finishes the splash test in only 1.6 seconds and gets 2nd place overall. Like I said, a few of these tests were kind of weird with how Gigi works, but we've still got a much better idea of how her stats compare to other brawlers. But the question is, how good is she actually going to be in each game mode specifically? Let's talk about it and then show you all of her voice lines and pins. First up, we got Gem Grab, and I'm gonna go with the A tier. You know what? Upon release, before she ends up getting balanced, it may even be S tier. I think Gigi's going to be above average when it comes to being an assassin in Gem Grab. She'll easily be able to charge up her super no matter who she's up against, and then she can use it to not only get a kill on the enemy gem carrier, but then teleport back to safety. It's gonna feel really unfair, honestly. Like, she's so good at getting in there, dealing damage, and then running away. It's going to be a matter of can she kill them and pick up the gems before she teleports. But even if she can't pick up all of them, she's going to be able to pick up some of them, and sometimes that's all you need to reset a gem count. Her super is actually so efficient that she could be a good gem carrier herself if she really needs to be, because she can use it to escape as well. It doesn't force her to teleport back like Kenji's super does. She can just choose to just run away. Really, really great. And you know what? Even if she doesn't use it to teleport back after she picks up the gems, she can then use her attack to dance away faster. She's going to be really good at assassinating gem grab. Yeah, man. Really could be S tier. We're going to go with A tier for now, though. But for Brawl Ball, we're going to go with the S tier. I think Brawl Ball is going to be her best game mode for a few reasons. Not needing any ammo to shoot the ball is always a plus in Brawl Ball. And with how often she can charge her super, she's going to be consistently adding pressure, and that's going to make her really tough to score on. On top of that, like I said, Gigi does not have to teleport back to her original spot, so she can just use it for straight up movement. You know, it's like, and she's got speed, she's got health, she's got so many cool things. And Brawl Ball, there's also lots of walls that she can attack on the opposite side of. Not quite as effectively as Doug and Jackie, but still. For Heist, we're gonna go with a B tier. I'm hesitating because she could be an A tier brawler as well. I'm thinking of brawlers like Miko and Cordelius who like don't typically have a good enough range or even long DPS, but can also be really good on defense. And she also has the ability to move. I don't know. Anyway, she just shouldn't have a big problem of getting to the enemy safe with her super. I just think that her range is going to be the biggest problem for Heist. Even though her attack is area effect, which is very good for Heist, her small range will still force her to choose between attacking the safe or enemies defending it. Consistent damage has been less important ever since the safe rework, where it gets that shield every 25% of health, but she still seems to be on the lower side of overall DPS, so I think the B tier is a pretty accurate guess. Although if she's broken on release, she'll be S tier like everywhere else, right? For Bounty, we're gonna go with the C tier. Gigi should be able to get plenty of kills in Bounty, but it's getting out of enemy range safely that's the issue. On open maps, most good Bounty brawlers outrange even her super, so she might struggle enough to even just get within range of assassinating an enemy. And then if she does, even teleporting back may not cover enough safe distance to keep her safe. Her second star power may give her a little bit of a better chance because it heals her, but I'd still probably avoid using her on most Bounty maps. There will be some where she could be useful, so maybe B tier, but we're gonna go with a C tier for Bounty right now. For Hot Zone, we're gonna go with the C tier. This could be her worst game mode simply because of how short her range is. Even if she can use her super to get kills and take over the zone, she just doesn't have nearly enough range to keep control of it for very long. She might be decent on maps with walls that are inside the zone, but that's about it. And there aren't that many maps with walls inside the hot zone, at least in the past update. I actually have not checked the walls in the next update, so maybe. We're going with C tier. For Knockout, we're gonna go with a B tier, potentially A tier. Unlike all of the other game modes, some knockout matches are played so passively that Gigi might actually struggle to charge her super even with her trait, unless she puts herself at harm's way, which is not usually a great thing to do in Knockout because sometimes a lot of brawlers, they just need to charge their super or their hypercharge once to wipe out your team. That being said, if she is able to effectively charge her super, I think it could be a strong ability to have when the smoke starts to roll in because she's gonna be able to teleport onto people, which is crazy. And you know, it's actually kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about this yet. She can use her ammo to spin and move faster, which will allow her to charge her super even when she's far away from enemies. She can purposefully use that to like pull some matrix moves and just dodge enemies' fire to charge up her super, which is interesting. So she could just be spinning around on the map without even trying to attack enemies. Very interesting. I hadn't thought about that. That's weird. That could be a legit strategy, especially because her reload speed is actually really fast. Another thing to consider here is that her second gadget might give her and her teammates just enough invisibility to get a sneaky kill or two early in the game. B tier makes sense for Knockout. She may end up being A tier though. For Solo Showdown, we're gonna go with the B tier. Yes, she can ramp up her damage very well. She can break boxes open incredibly quickly, but her lack of range is really going to make it difficult for her to charge that first super. Like, think of like a Jackie or a Frank. They're just such like targets in Solo Showdown. Everybody just wants to kill them and just charge their super on them. And I could see that happening with Gigi as well. If she does manage to charge one super, then assassinating brawlers one by one is going to be very easy for her. But there's also quite a few brawlers in the game that can counter her really hard, and so it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. B tier is going to make sense for solo showdown for her. For duo and trio showdown, we're going to go with the A tier. She should be significantly better with a teammate or two, and her AoE attacks will benefit from hitting multiple targets at the same time. As long as she has brawlers on her team that can counter her counters, she could be really solid for this game mode, which is why I think A tier makes sense for duo and trio showdown. For Brawl Arena, I'm going to go with the A tier. Gigi has really good ability to clear waves, and every time she gets her super, it can be used to dive on a turret or jump on an opponent, or even, you know, go in, deal some damage to the turret, and then teleport right back. She can also take on any amount of bots in the jungle at the same time, which means she's going to be able to level up really quickly. Her super could also be used to steal a kill on the kaiju as well, which would be really nasty. I think that she does deserve A tier for Brawl Arena. But I want to know what you guys think about Gigi in the comment section below, whether you disagree with those placements or not. I'm going to show you all her voice lines and pins, but first I just wanted to say, make sure you subscribe for more Brawl Stars update content. That's all for sneak peeks for this one update, but we're getting another update in another month or so, and you don't want to miss it.
I dance into the void. Who got my strings? Enjoy the sound of one hand clapping. Master still loves me. The brawling must go on. You don't want to play? Gigi's sad. Gigi, say bye-bye. Never mind. Hey, watch the threads. Master won't be happy. Such clumsy fingers. Who pulled my string? Gigi no likey. Gigi loves pain. I just want to be friends. Did you really mean that? Why is everyone running from us? Graceful, yes. Merciful, no. Adagio to allegro. I might be a puppet, but you